Welcome to my educational series where you can improve your English proficiency and prepare for exams like TOEFL and IELTS. In this episode, we'll focus on an academic topic. You will hear a talk followed by several questions. I recommend that you take some notes while listening because it will help you at the end of the conversation to answer all of the questions in the quiz correctly. So let's listen to it.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We get a ton of material from you folks, and today we're diving into some of the most interesting stuff, all about how the human body works. Specifically, we're going to focus on muscles.
Yeah, muscles are amazing.
They really are. We're going to take a deep dive today, and we're going to really understand what are the different roles these muscle types play, how they actually enable us to move, and how we function.
Yeah, and I think what's so interesting is just how much we take them for granted, right? Like every single movement, from big things like leaping to, your stomach rumbling to even your heart beating, all that is muscles.
It really is. And that's actually a good place to start. So, as our sources talk about three main types of muscles, each with its own very specific role. First up, we've got the skeletal muscles. These are the ones that are attached to our bones via tendons. And, some of these can be surprisingly long, up to a foot.
Right. And these are the ones that we consciously control. So, when you make a decision to reach for something, that's your nervous system sending signals to those skeletal muscles saying, hey, contract, we need to make this movement.
So it's like a direct connection between your brain and the muscle.
Exactly. And it's so cool, too, how they're structured. Like they have these long parallel fibers, which gives them that power and that really directed movement.
It makes sense when you think about how, some of those movements require a lot of strength. Like think about lifting weights. It's all about those skeletal muscles.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to smooth muscle. This one's kind of the unsung hero, I think. It's found in the walls of hollow organs, like your intestines moving food along or your bladder, all those processes that happen automatically. You don't even have to think about it.
So is that what's going on when we talk about like involuntary movements?
Exactly. And the contractions of these muscles are slower and more sustained, which is perfect for those ongoing internal processes that just, keep us running smoothly.
It's fascinating to think about all these systems working together without us even realizing it.
Oh, it's incredible. And then, of course, we have cardiac muscle, which is the powerhouse of the heart. This one's pretty straightforward location-wise, right? It's only found in the heart.
Yeah.
And it contracts automatically and tirelessly to pump that blood throughout your body. And although you don't consciously control it, your nervous system can definitely influence its rate depending on, say, your activity level.
So like when we're exercising, our heart rate goes up. That's the nervous system kind of kicking in and telling the heart to pump faster.
Precisely. And that interconnected network of the cardiac muscle cells allows for that synchronized rhythmic beating. It's designed for endurance. It doesn't get tired like your skeletal muscles might after a tough workout.
That's a good thing, because if our heart got tired, that would be a problem.
Yeah, big problem. But going back to the skeletal muscles for a second, the sources also point out that they're not just all jumbled together. They're actually arranged in layers, with surface muscles often covering deeper ones.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just a random assortment. There's a specific organization to it.
Exactly. And that layered structure enables such a wide range of movements, both fine and precise movements, and also the ability to generate a lot of force. Like, think about the delicate movements your fingers can make compared to the power your leg muscles generate when you're walking.
Right. And it seems like we can broadly group the skeletal muscles based on whether they're on the front or the rear of the body.
Yeah.
And each group seems to control different types of movements.
That's a good observation. So like on the front, those muscles are involved in things like facial expressions, moving your head forward, bending your arms and legs, lifting your feet.
And the rear muscles would be more about maintaining posture, keeping your head upright, those sorts of things.
Exactly. Steadying your shoulders, supporting your back. They're also involved in movements like extending your arms backward, straightening your legs at the hip, pointing your toes down. It's this really cool arrangement of front and rear muscles that allow for balanced and controlled movement.
And did I read somewhere that those muscles often have Latin names that actually describe their size or their location or their shape, even their action?
Yeah. It's fascinating. Those Latin names are very descriptive. So, like, if a muscle has longus in its name, it's probably long. And biceps tells you it has two heads or origins. So the names themselves give you a lot of information.
That's so cool. So you can actually deduce a lot about what a muscle does just by knowing its name.
Exactly.
So the next time you're reaching for that cup of coffee or even just taking a breath, just remember all these different muscle types, skeletal, smooth, cardiac, are working together in this super complex and fascinating way to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, muscles are the fundamental machinery of movement in your body. These three distinct types, with their specialized structures and functions, are essential for everything you do, consciously and unconsciously.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. Thanks for breaking that down for us.
Absolutely.
And for all of you listening, considering just how many movements your body makes every single day, big and small, what's one muscle action you'll pay more attention to now that you know a little bit more about what's happening under the surface?
It's worth thinking about.
It really is. Thanks again for sharing your insights with us, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have learned something new and useful, and see you in the next episode. Bye.